You can be saved and unsubmitted to Jesus. And when something doesn't go your way, you freak out and you grab hold of it, trying to fix it, and you'll strangle it to death trying to fix it. And guess what? That is not God's purpose or plan for your life. He gets sold then he goes to Potiphar's house, then to prison, then to Pharaoh, and then his brother's ultimately going to come and bow down because he's number 2 in the land. He saves everybody from famine, right? He's sort of heroic in this whole deal. We get to the end of the story and we see he has perspective. It's a different perspective than you and I have. Genesis 45, 4 and 5. It says, "Now, so Joseph said to his brothers, 'Come near to me, please.' And they came near. And he said, 'I am your brother Joseph, whom you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed or angry with yourselves because you sold me here. For God sent me before you to preserve life.'" You see the grace he has when dealing with his brothers? I mean, I'd be like, "Hey, it's on. You guys threw me here. I mean, let's go. I mean, we're going to, because if you ever fought anybody, it was your brothers or your siblings. I mean, some of my best wrestles were with my brothers, you know. I mean, it's on, right? And if you showed up and you've done that to me, but look at his perspective. Do not be angry with yourselves for doing what you did to me, because here's a different view. And this is what our lives, when submitted unto our Lord, where we trust his sovereign leadership over us, even when we get thrown in a pit, this is a perspective he gives us. It's a whole different view of things. And this is something that we're challenged to have. Now, you may not buy Joseph's explanation. You may be like, "Hey, he's just being nice, you know. What did God really have to do with this? These guys betrayed him and stabbed him in the back, and he suffered all these great injustices." Well, listen to Tim Keller's perspective in his book, Walking with God Through Pain and Suffering. You may want to get that one in your library, Walking with God Through Pain and Suffering. Dr. Keller recently passed from pancreatic cancer. He says, "The Bible teaches that God is completely in control of what happens in history, and yet he exercises that control in such a way that human beings are responsible for their freely chosen actions and the results of those actions. Human freedom and God's direction of historical events are therefore completely compatible. To put it more practically and vividly, if a man robs a bank, that moral evil is fully his responsibility, though it is also a part of God's plan. God's plan works through our choices, not around or despite of them. Our choices have consequences, and we're never forced by God to do anything. We always do what we most want to do. God works out his will perfectly through our willing actions. Therefore, while all suffering and trauma are a result of sin in our world, as John Walton says, suffering then is not outside God's plan, but a part of it. C.S. Lewis famously wrote, "Pain insists upon being attended to. God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our consciences, but shouts in our pain. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world." As a pastor, I find this to be true. People are willing to change when it costs them something. When there is enough pain, you will change. You will run to God, you will run from God. But when there's a price that is big enough, you'll be like, "Okay, I'm willing to change now." When it costs you something, you'll change, right? And so pain, God uses pain to get our attention and to pull us to himself. So if you find yourself in the pit on a journey to it, trust that God can and will work to accomplish his plan for your life. That's number one. Number two, when life puts you in the pit, it's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to grow. Look at his growth, verses 14 and 15 of Genesis 37. "So he said to him, 'Go now and see if it is well with your brothers and with the flock, and bring me word.' So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and he came to Shechem, and a man found him wandering in the fields, and then the man asked, 'What are you seeking?'" Two words here, wandering and seeking. Wandering and seeking. To wander is to be confused, to err, to go astray. Joseph's brothers weren't where they were supposed to be, and this confused him. So he begins to seek, right? Seeking, trying to discover. It's a diligent search. He's striving to find out. And the sense here is that he's confused and is aggressively looking for his brothers. It's clear things aren't as expected. And I'm going to stop right there and ask you a question. When things aren't going as expected, how do you respond? Do you try to fix it and control it? Do you overmanage and micromanage? Or do you trust that God is going to lead you through? That God is going to work it out. The unsubmitted life to Christ grabs hold of it and tries to fix it, even if it strangles the life out of it. Let me say that again. The unsubmitted life to Christ. You can be saved and unsubmitted to Jesus. And when something doesn't go your way, you freak out and you grab hold of it, trying to fix it, and you'll strangle it to death trying to fix it. And guess what? That is not God's purpose or plan for your life. The submitted life to Christ says, Jesus, you're Lord. And so instead of grabbing hold, I'm letting go, and I'm going to turn my hands up. You want to do this? We do this every now and then. Do this with me. Grab your hands. Turn them up. This will change your life. If you learn to pray this way, it will change your life. And here's what you do when you trust the sovereign God. God, I let go of the things I'm holding on to, and I give them to you. And I open my hands to receive what you have for me. What do you do in the pit? Right here. Here it is, right here. This is what you do right here. I'm letting go of what I'm holding on to, trying to fix, trying to make happen. And God, I'm giving it to you. It's yours. I trust you. And I can't wait to receive what you have for me, because it's going to be better. It's going to be better.